Hello and welcome to Turn 1 Soul Vlog. We're going to be looking at the top 5 upgrades for Aminatou, and we're just going to start right off with Sepulchral Primordial. This is a great card. It's a 5/4 Intimidate, which that's already pretty good. That's good stats and a good ability. But when it enters the battlefield, you essentially get to steal a creature from your opponent's graveyard. And I think that's really good for this deck, because it's going to essentially involve you just stealing like all their big beefy creatures. This is a great card to play after like a field wipe or something, where you essentially get the pick, the pick of the litter essentially from people's graveyards, and the fact that you can just keep flickering it just makes it that much more better to me. The next card is Twilight Prophet from Rivals of Ixalan. This card really, I think, really helps with top deck shenanigans. It's very good. It's really good life gain for this deck, and it's really just good at hitting those life loss, just hitting life loss after life loss. I personally think this card's going to see a lot of removal aimed at it, but it kind of trades out with that because you're going to get the City's Blessing relatively easily in Commander. It's very easy to get more than 10 permanents out, and if you don't get 10 permanents out, you pretty much had a bad game. But this card, I think, is just really going to be good, and I think it's for this deck just because with Aminatou, you can manipulate the top of your deck, and you can manipulate how much life you gain and how much life your opponents lose off of this card. The next card for Aminatou is kind of a classic blue card, Serum Visions. Drawing a card and scrying 2 for 1 mana is really good. If it had the words Ancestral Recall on it, I would love it even more, and it would have me drawing 3 cards. The last 2 cards I'm going to cover here are Planeswalkers, and the first one we're going to cover here is Kaya Ghost Assassin. She's a really good card draw engine for us, and she's good at just doing just life loss and life gain, which in turn helps us kind of stay in the game a bit longer. The fact that she can blink either herself or an up to 1 target creature makes sure that we can potentially keep her from experiencing or having to deal with removal, which I think is really good. She's, I think, a really good Planeswalker, and I mean, losing 2 life isn't that much of a price to pay to the fact that you can, with the right cards in this deck, I think she will be an absolute killer, just because of you can blink her with Aminatou, get 2 card draws, make each opponent lose 2 cards. You can get card advantage. You can gain 4 life. You can blink her. Ultimately, I think Kaya will be a very good card for this deck, and one that you should consider. The last card I'm going to cover today, Sorin Grim Nemesis. This card, I think, is going, especially if you're playing against the other Commander 18 decks, he is really good. He gives you Scry, and essentially makes your opponents lose life off your Scries. Very similar to Twilight Prophet, but he's a Planeswalker and costs less mana. I think he really good. Extra card draw if we need it. That -X, where he can get rid of a creature or Planeswalker and give us life gain, is really good, especially, again, like I said, against those other Commander 18 decks, or just other Planeswalker commanders in general, where he can just pretty much snipe them off the field, which I think is really good. And he also just gives us some kind of spot removal, where if there's something kind of big on the field that we're kind of feeling a little bit, maybe that shouldn't be there, I think he does a really good job with that. And the fact that we also gain that much life equal to the damage, I think also really just gives him a good spot in this deck. And then that ultimate, where if we've been gaining life off of Sorin and Kaya, I think this ultimate really has a chance to help us win the game and do really well for ourselves, because all of those 1/1s with lifelink are going to be absolute bonkers. If not, it's a great just wall of blockers for us. And I think Sorin will do very well in a deck that's already just kind of doing a lot of really cool shenanigans. And those are my picks for the top 5 upgrades for Aminatou the Fateshifter. If I didn't cover a card you wanted me to cover, let me know in the comment section below, and As always, leave a like and subscribe. It really helps support the channel. And as always, everyone, have a good one.